Today I'm going to be sharing with you the books that I have purchased over the last, I'd say, couple of weeks, if not like month or two, that I plan to read this summer as a Catholic therapist. I'm so excited to share these books because honestly, I have been waiting to film this video so that I could start reading them. If you are a Catholic, if you are a therapist, if you are interested in the Catholic faith, if you're interested in therapy, if you're interested in self-improvement, if you're on your own mental health journey, or you just are interested in what a Catholic therapist might read, then you've come to the right place. I really like to try and find books that I'd be able to recommend to my clients. So that's really the ultimate goal for me when I am looking for books related to mental health and psychology. As far as books for spirituality, religion, or faith, I love to read those as well to be able to recommend to not only clients but like family, friends, and of course for my own enrichment in my spiritual life. So why don't we start with the faith and religion. Starting out with religion and faith and whatnot. First book here that I'm really excited for, this is called Humility of Heart. This is written by Reverend Father Cajetan da Bergamo. A beautiful book to start, honestly. So I'm actually just going to read you all what prompted me to buy this book, which was ultimately the description on the website, the Tan Books website. This is the greatest book on humility ever written and will likely be the best book you will read in the next 5 years outside of Holy Scripture. This is kind of what captured me. There's a little quote. And it says, "Here is how the book opens up. In paradise, there are many saints who never gave alms on earth. Their poverty justified them. There are many saints who never mortified their bodies by fasting or wearing hair shirts. Their bodily infirmities excused them. There are many saints too who were not virgins. Their vocation was otherwise. But in paradise, there is no saint who is not humble." There's a great review from Father Chad Ripperger, who I really love. He says, "Humility of Heart is a spiritual classic and among the best books ever written on humility." So, say no more. Also, the book was on sale, so trying to be on a budget here and felt like this was a really good purchase. So really excited for this one. The next book that I bought is actually the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the Ascension edition. There she is. I just really wanted to have my own physical copy. Definitely will be relying on this very frequently and for the rest of my life. The last book in the kind of religion and faith realm, speaking of Father Ripperger, is actually a book written by him which ties right in perfectly with the next books I'll be getting into in, mental health and whatnot. And it is the Introduction to the Science of Mental Health. This, I think, is going to be one of my go-to books really moving forward, not only in the spiritual life and in my faith, but also as a therapist. I'm just so excited to hear more of the spiritual explanation of some of these mental health diagnoses and interventions and conceptualizations of the human soul and the human person. I'll read off a couple of the chapters for you all. The psychological ramifications of the virtue of faith, demonic influences, implicit learning. Now let's jump into mental health and kind of more therapy focused books. I'm gonna put them all right here next to me so that it's a little easier. Like I said before, when I'm buying these books, really what I'm doing is I'm thinking of which books could be helpful to recommend to my either current clients or possible clients down the road. The first one is Mindful Self-Compassion for Burnout: Tools to Help You Heal and Recharge When You're Wrung Out by Stress. Even though none of these books are explicitly Christian or Catholic, a part of what I'm doing as I'm reading through these new therapy books is looking for themes that really resonate with the Catholic and the Christian faith. And I try to be mindful of, okay, who am I going to recommend this book to? And do I actually want to recommend this book if it's kind of leading possibly clients down a path that is really not best for their overall personhood? The next book is called Stop Overthinking Your Relationship: Breaking the Cycle of Anxious Rumination to Nurture Love, Trust, and Connection with Your Partner. Again, hoping that I'll be able to recommend this to some of my clients. Already I'm seeing some CBT type of content popping in here, right, about recognizing our thoughts, asking, whether they're actually valid, are they helpful in the context of, right, relationships, and I think this one specifically is really for romantic relationships. This next one is Thoughts and Feelings for Teens, a workbook to help you balance emotions and take charge of your mental health. This is really more workbook style, very CBT-esque as I'm looking through it now. Socratic questioning about our thoughts and whether or not they are really valid, right? Is it helpful to think the way that we are, etc. And hopefully I can recommend it to some of my teen clients. This next book is called The Self-Esteem Workbook, a simple, effective program to help you conquer self-doubt, overcome self-defeating thoughts, self-criticism, cultivate body appreciation, embrace your strengths, tons of different things. Just a tiny little sneak peek into this. Again, I am seeing CBT themes. So I'm really excited to read this because, especially as a Catholic, I know self-esteem can kind of be debatable about like whether or not self-esteem is a good thing in the Catholic framework. I'm really excited to find out what tools in this can be really useful. How much does it align with my faith and with the Catholic faith? Hopefully I will reach a point where I feel like this could be useful for some clients. And the last book that I bought is the Anxiety and Worry Workbook, the Cognitive Behavioral Solution. Really excited about this. Aaron T. Beck is like basically one of the founders of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, the ultimate man when it comes to CBT. Again, a little peekaroo at what you might find. I'm seeing a lot here about like self-monitoring, very SMART, goal-oriented. There we go, last book. So we'll see how these books turn out. Again, I'm really hopeful about all of them, but a large part of buying these books and flipping through them and taking the time to really immerse myself in them is to figure out whether or not I actually want to recommend them to others. That is like the primary goal, to grow as a therapist and to grow in my faith. That is the mission. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed watching. I will see you all in my next video. All right, have a great day. Bye.